You've
Yeah.
recently designed and are about to teach a course introducing teachers in India to philosophy with children. And I'm curious to understand like what motivated you to do this. Is there like a specific challenge or problem that you're trying to address through this course? And like what are you hoping to see coming out of it?
The way we've designed it is also to really be practical rather than just the theory aspect of philosophy with children. We have this a segment where we design lesson plans. They take like even 25 minutes in their classroom space with students where they record their facilitation and they bring it back and we listen to each other's facilitation and like give feedback. So this is something which in my like many years of doing philosophy with children, I never got the chance to kind of have access to other facilitators facilitation, given how um, not like spontaneous, but given how this is meant to be student led and teacher led to such a high extent that like even if we have a lesson plan, where it goes and how it goes is so governed by what the students say and what the facilitator responds. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very valuable to have that segment. And I think the gap that I'd always seen is that it took me a few years till I went for a master's to the US and I got to visit these centers that do it to be able to see it in action in other places. So so that's a gap that we're trying to fill with this course, the coaching element.
Especially in Indian classrooms, I think just because the number of students is so large,
Yeah.
in most typical classrooms, that it's like, okay, how do you facilitate a dialogue between like 40 kids who are sitting in benches in a certain way? Um,
Yeah. Dialogical pedagogy is supposed to be somehow this more liberatory pedagogy, but it's not necessarily like that. If there are very mixed background and you don't allow if you don't create space for certain students to be able to speak up, they will not speak up. So usually the classroom thing is that, oh, if you speak then you are like participating in the dialogue and you're kind of always penalized for not speaking. But like students who don't speak, where does it come from? Are they comfortable enough? Like, and one also, like if the students in the class are not speaking the same like language with respect to not like literally language, but they don't have the same access to concepts and vocabulary, then the way they'll be able to express themselves is something that we have to work on. So also keeping those aspects of like inquiry and dialogue also constantly in the picture with these teachers so that they also understand how this is who has written a really nice piece on the limits of dialogue and
hmm.
how it is like the kind of ever since Freire and even before the pushback against like this banking system is like a more dialogical system. But like the article talks about how the dialogical system is often used as a way to keep people in their like inferiority superiority positions.
Hmm.
A dialogue, and I'll say I'll have dialogue with you, but actually because my voice and my language is so much more powerful, I'll only have dialogue to again kind of show you that you don't know,
Hmm.
that I know better. So that is something that, especially in the Indian classrooms, teachers have to be very careful about because we might enter into dialogue, but we might still keep asserting our voice. Um, yeah. So as much as like it's important to see it playing out between students, it's also very important to see it how as a facilitator it's playing out.
What are the broad goals that you think you have with this course that when you feel like, yeah, these are the things that you would like to achieve with the teachers that you'll be working with?
So that's the broadest goal is to like to make this sustainable, to
Mm-hmm.
make it such that people not just get an awareness and taste, but they want to be in it. Um, and at the same time, the other goals would be, of course, like to allow it to reach more students where they can think about their open-ended questions creatively, critically, where teachers have more space in the classroom to also take part in like this childlike inquiry, where they can like leave their otherwise responsibilities to keep delivering knowledge and actually be a part of a circle where they are curious with students, thinking about a philosophical puzzle with students.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's to allow the teachers to also be in the role of a student in their classrooms, and to allow students to also feel like they can um, think together and like produce new, like not like produce, but like construct new knowledge, construct new questions, imagine differently about the questions we are thinking about, play with their ideas. So of course there's the usual.
This is this is really cool, and I'm curious, like in the course, is there some way in which you're trying to encourage teachers to be able to think and broaden their perspectives in that way? Like, have you thought about that?
So just responding to the previous point, right? Like like it's still a gray area for me, right? Like you don't need to be an expert philosopher, as you said, but at the same time, like what does it mean to be an expert facilitator in
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
Not have all the different perspectives, but I always like I still get like um confused that I feel like, oh, if I at this point through this kind of like hypothesis, what would it have done to where the students went? So
mm-hmm.
that feeling of like there are people who are informing this discipline, and like, so if you're doing a philosophy of time class, I think I would like to know like what are the people saying in this discipline without having to like go into like a PhD into it. So but
Right,
it's definitely something that is I'm still uh, trying to see what are the borders of it. Like for a facilitator, like how much does it help to know about? And that, since there will be so much that expert philosophers are saying, where do you draw a line? So that's still a gray area.